Hello! Today we're making cupcakes, which is what I kind of started Fiendish Delights doing. So I thought I'd make some chocolate cupcakes with you today. Quite an easy recipe, doesn't use butter, it uses oil. It is from Sally's Baking Addiction, slightly tweaked, but yeah. So I have got 95 grams of self-raising flour, and I've also got half a teaspoon of baking powder. I have to look at my list. A quarter teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs at room temperature, 100 grams of white sugar, 100 grams of brown sugar. I've just got light soft brown sugar, 80 mils of vegetable oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then I've also got 120 mils of buttermilk. However, mine's not buttermilk, mine is natural yogurt with a bit of milk in it to make it up to the 120 mil. Again, room temperature. Baking ingredients need to be started off at room temperature because that makes everything blend together really, really nicely. Baking is a science, cooking not so much, but baking is definitely a science, and you've got to be quite precise when it comes to your measurements and such like. So first things first, I'm going to put, let's start with the dry. I'm going to put my dry ingredients into my large bowl. So there's the flour, get in, and then where are we at? Half a teaspoon of baking powder. Do measure your baking powder so you always level your spoon off. You don't want too much, because otherwise it'll rise and then fall, or it'll taste quite soapy. So we're using half a teaspoon. I might use a little less, you know, because there's only a little bit of flour there and it's already self-raising. Knock a little bit of this out. Just shy of half a teaspoon. And then a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. So a pinch really, a smidge more than a pinch. Brown sugar, 100 grams. White sugar, 100 grams. You can use caster sugar or granulated, whichever one you've got. And then your 45, did I even write it down? 45 grams of cocoa powder. I'll put the recipe down, I'll write it all down for you. And you just save it or screenshot it. So I am just whisking all of this together in a large bowl. No need to sieve it if you don't want to. I never do. Just use a whisk, give it a good mix through so it's thoroughly combined. And then I use a jug for this because it's easier. So I've got my 2 large eggs. I've got my buttermilk / yogurt milk combo, or as I said before, I'll just get a spatula. You can make your own buttermilk basically by souring some milk. So into 1 cupful, which is, so into half a cup, which is probably this amount, you want like half a teaspoon of white vinegar or lemon juice. And then into there goes the oil, and then 2 teaspoons of vanilla, I've preheated the oven to gas mark 4, 180, and I've also lined my muffin tin / cupcake tin, 12-hole one, with my liners. And I've also got some spare because apparently this recipe will make more than 12. but not many more. So all we're doing is combining this. Don't need a stand mixer. So it's all just coming together. Gloopy. Make a well. Wet into dry. And then start from the middle. Small turns. And once it starts to mix that first bit in, and you just give it a good mix. Now you don't want to be beating this. We're not combining it too much. Just basically stirring it is all we're doing. Just check the base, make sure there's no flour left on there, which there isn't. Again, I'm using my small ice cream scoop. And you want to fill the cups no more than half full. Just give that a good turn, make sure I've got everything combined. And yes, I did. And then it's just a case of scooping it. I'll come back. So, I think I've got 2 cases. I know I haven't. So this has made, scrape the rest out there. Obviously clean hands. Lots of washing. Still. Get every scrap out of that one. There we go, that'll do. So we have got, like I say, 14 lovely half-filled cases. Try not to drip it over the edge or onto the side of the cases, because it can burn, it catches a little bit. I'm going to give these a gentle tap just to get any air bubbles up to the top. And I've got the shelf midway between centre and halfway, top, sorry. And then we'll just pop them in. They may need an extra few minutes because they're on the lower shelf, and they need between 18 and 22 minutes. So I'm going to give them the 18 minutes and then see how they go, and I'll be back in a minute. So these have had, because I swapped them round, about 23 minutes all told. So they are bouncing back. Don't know if you can see that, but they're bouncing back nicely. And I can't hear anything. There's a slight little sing going on there. Can you hear? Probably not, but we'll just pop a cocktail stick in. They're coming out clean. They're bouncing back nicely. So they are done. Just going to let them sit on the side in the tins just for a couple of minutes to cool, and and tell you what we're going to need for our chocolate frosting. So we have got 180 grams of unsalted butter, and that is nice and soft, like really soft, not melted obviously. We have got 100 grams, so 1 bar of dark chocolate that's melted and it's now cool to touch. I've got 15 grams of cocoa powder. I've got 50 mils of milk. I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or vanilla flavour, whichever you want to use, and 500 grams of icing sugar. It is better to use a stand mixer. You can use a hand one. It will get very messy. I would not suggest doing this by hand because it will take forever. I mean, you can if you want to work out. If you're not getting outside for your once a day exercise, then, you know, by all means, use a wooden spoon and a mixing bowl. You will be on for a while. You won't get as light and fluffy frosting, but it is what it is, isn't it, at the end of the day? So I am just going to, they're fine now. Let's just pop this over here for a second, without crashing everything. So onto my cooled rack, I'm carefully removing these. Oh, this smells so good. Do you know what? I was going to make a cheesecake, but there's only 3 of us in the house. Now, I'm more than happy to eat cheesecake for breakfast. However, I do want to actually get out the door when all this is over. And if we end up doing a 12-week isolation, I had a bit of a wobble today as well, just to let you know that one. So if you're feeling a little bit, you know, confused, concerned, scared, perfectly normal. And to be fair, the only reason that I know what day of the week it is because of my antidepressants, because it's written on the side of it. So hurrah for that. So yeah. Oh, they are lovely. Use little pretty pink cases today. Chocolate. Do you see my beautiful hurricane in the back here? Ooh, how pretty is that? Party light. So let's get cracking with this frosting. It's going to be a little bit noisy, obviously, because I'm using Kenny. So this is Kenny. I love him. And then I've also got his stepsister. She's called Ruby. And she's a... I'm going to have a quick look because I can't remember what brand she is. She's a Cook's Professional. And she's beautiful and red. So yes, and she's massive. So yes, so that's Ruby, stepsister to Kenny, my Kenwood. I love him a lot. Anyway, so into the bowl, I've got my, this has got a magic little scraper. It's like a rubber silicone scraper on the side. But you want to be using your K-beater or your paddle. The paddled side. Rather, you don't want to be using the balloon whisk. So into there, popping in 180 grams of unsalted butter that is nice and soft. And what I will do is actually come back to you, because this is going to now beat for about 5 minutes until it is as light as possible, colour wise and texture wise. So it's going to look almost like whipped cream. It's going to be really white, or as white as we can get it. This is Aldi's butter, and it actually starts off reasonably light. Some of them are really, really yellow. Some of them, the more expensive brands, start off beautiful and white. However, when I'm just doing home baking, I don't buy expensive stuff. I just buy what is there, particularly from Aldi's, because I love Aldi's. So right, this is going to be on So I'm going to start it off on low, and then gradually increase the speed to about number 5. And that's going to do its thing for about 5 minutes, so I'll be back soon. I can't wait, that's gone. Perfect. So I'm just going to scrape this beater off, get all of the butter from inside all its little crevices and nooks and crannies, and then I'm just scraping that. I like to push it to the side because when I put my icing sugar in, sometimes it just gets a bit stuck. I mean, I scrape it down anyway, but it just irritates me a little bit. Oh, there we go. So into here I am putting all of it, the whole box. Try not to do it too fast because you will end up with a bit of a flurry, let's say, of icing sugar. So nice and gently pop that in. You may have to sieve your icing sugar. I never have to. Usually I use, again, Aldi's, it's the pantry range, which is lovely. And then my cocoa powder straight in as well. And then, where's my tea towel gone? So I'm using a clean tea towel. I'll just put it that way. So just till it starts to combine, put it on its lowest setting. And it just catches any clouds of icing sugar. I can actually taste it in the air already. That's just starting to come together now. You can kind of hear the difference. I won't put the milk in yet. Let's just turn that off a second. Put my vanilla in. So 1 teaspoon. And then in with the melted chocolate. Cooled melted chocolate, remember. You don't want to melt the butter. Can be tediously messy as well, but it's all part of the fun. So I'm just going to let that combine for a couple of seconds. Again, keeping it on slow, because if you pour the milk in when it's on high speed, you will be covered. Don't say I didn't warn you. Just gently add that milk. There we go. Right, that has come together nicely, so I'm going to pop that up to medium speed. And then that's just going to do its thing just for a couple of minutes, just so it all combines, and I'll scrape it down. Oh, look at that. Oh, it smells so good. I'm just going to get a spoon because we need to taste it. Mmm. Oh, that's so good. Yes. So, cupcakes are still a little bit warm. These want to be completely cold. Not just cool, totally cold before we put any form of frosting on them. Otherwise it will melt. So, maybe another 10 minutes. So I will come back and then we will get frosting. So they're nice and cold. So now we get our frosting. I use a pint glass. Make a lot of noise. And just pop some in there. Probably about half of it for now. Stops the mess doing it that way. Because there's not masses of frosting, I'm going to start doing a few rosettes first off, and then I might do some swirls depending on how much I think I've got left. So we start, oh hang on, what tip have I got in here? I think this is a 2D, a Wilton 2D. Can't find it. Anyway, I mean, it makes no odds. Use whatever you want. Spoon it on, swirl it round, done. So we start in the middle, follow it round, and then release the pressure and take it off. Rosette. Great thing about being 48. Hot flushes. Not so great. So start in the middle, follow it around, and release. There we go. My phone just went on to low battery again. There we go. Yeah, I've got about half left, so I'm going to do, what have I got there? 2, 4, 5, so I'll do one more rosette. There we go. And then let's do some swirls. So I always do a splodge in the middle and then start from the outside, nice and gently, getting smaller, da-doink, so we get a nice amount of frosting on them. Because weirdly, some people don't like frosting. I've heard of these people. Never really met them, but some people don't particularly like lots of frosting. Now, obviously I've done chocolate here. You can do whatever flavour you want. If I'd have thought about it, I could have put some of my salted caramel flavour in here. So we would have had chocolate and salted caramel, because that is one of the most amazing combos ever. Peanut butter frosting. Peanut butter and chocolate. My friend Stefan is allergic to peanuts though, so I can't make things like that for him. So we usually go with sort of the caramel. But yeah, I mean, you can just use regular vanilla. You could go, I've just put a little cloth down there just to take the pressure off that so I don't actually break the glass. Probably would be better using a jug or a plastic tumbler, but I kind of know my own, I know my own strength now, so I know not to do it too hard. Yeah, do white chocolate, that's nice. Cherry, that'd be nice. I would just do a basic vanilla frosting and then add some cherry syrup, because that's nice. And then you get kind of a Black Forest cupcake. Yum yum. So again, a splodge in the middle. Oops, a couple of air bubbles in there. Ah, there's a hole in the bag. That's why it's leaking everywhere. Last one. And I've got some of these little lovely things. So this is honeycomb, or can't remember what it's called right now. Oh, cinder toffee and chocolate chips. Let me just get a little spoon. And this I bought from Home Bargains, I do believe, and it's like £1 or something. It's really nice. So just as a little extra deliciousness, I'll put them on the sprinkled ones. No, the swirled ones. Or should I just put them on all of them? Yeah, let's put them on all of them. Because why not? Isolation cupcakes with all the delicious stuff on. Quite messy this bit. But again, fun times. Let's put a bit more on that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. There, that'll do. I get carried away. So we've got little rosettes and we've got swirls with all the delicious things on. So I'll clean all this up. Hope you enjoyed that one. Get in touch. Let me know what you would like me to have a try at making next time. Remember to like my page, Vintage Delights. I'm on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel and follow me on Insta if you wish, because obviously that's not the important part. The important part is everybody getting the hands involved and getting some baking done, getting some cooking done and having fun. All right, guys. Bye.